Good day, Internet. This is DTNS Live for Friday, February 14th, 2025. From Studio Animal House, I'm Sarah Lane.
In Los Angeles, California, I'm Tom Merritt.
From Columbus, Ohio, I'm Robb Dunewood.
And I'm the show's producer, Roger Chang.
Daily Tech News Show Live is made possible by you, my friend. Thank you, Dale Mulcahy, for the whiskey. Matt Zaglin, Jeff Wilkes, and Kwame Amaokopoku. Thank you so much for supporting the show. We could not do this show without you.
Who gave you whiskey? Because I didn't.
Dale gave me whiskey.
Well,
it wasn't part of his Patreon. He just lives in Los Angeles.
Welcome to DTNS Live. This is the show where we discuss the tech news to help us all understand it a little better together. How's everybody doing today? Rob, still snowing?
No.
Oh, the snow got his connection.
Low 30s.
Oh, your connection dropped out right after you said no.
Nope.
Oh. Well, no, it's not snowing. It's not snowing. It's probably in the low 30s.
Okay. It froze the line for a second. That's all.
I'm in charge.
Well, Roger, Tom, and I are in LA. It was rainy. It was rainy yesterday. I'm looking at blue skies outside my window right now. So
yeah, we're just trying to get the party lit.
Yep, that's. I mean,
we're not here for a beef.
Unless
literally
it's for dinner.
Trying to light a party on fire. Okay, that's what we're doing.
Beef. It's what's for dinner.
Luckily, we do have some tech news to talk about, so let's get right into it.
Apple and Google both restored TikTok to their U.S. app stores on Thursday evening, almost a month after it was removed due to a national security law banning the app. Bloomberg reports that the decision came after a letter. Maybe it was like a little Valentine's Day note from U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi saying again that the ban would not be enforced. Don't worry if you're violating the law. We promise we will not prosecute you. So all the ByteDance apps are back. CapCut, Lemonade, also removed to comply with the law, have been reinstated as well. There are others, so don't worry. They're all back now. Yay.
Two separate people told 404 Media that the database for the U.S. Department of Government Efficiency at doge.gov was vulnerable. The site is informational, but the data set is pulled from what was editable by anyone. The people also told 404 Media that the site is built on Cloudflare pages, not government servers. So, yeah.
Google's Gemini AI assistant now remembers past conversations with the Gemini Advanced subscription via Google One AI Premium. So it can also summarize earlier conversations and continue existing projects. While Gemini already remembered user preferences, this update lets it reference past discussions. Yeah, not all the LLMs do that. Users can review, delete, and manage their chat history anytime by tapping their profile picture in the Gemini app and selecting Gemini app activity.
The government of the United Kingdom is renaming its AI Safety Institute to the AI Security Institute. The move is part of the government's push to use AI for economic growth and modernization, it says. The government is also going to partner with Anthropic to explore using Claude, its chatbot, in public services and security risk evaluations.
On Friday, China-based Baidu said it will make its Ernie 4.5 series of large language models open source starting June 30th. This follows an announcement Thursday that the version of Ernie chatbot will be available for free starting April 1st.
Paramount Global and YouTube TV reached a last-minute deal, at least something that is temporary, but a deal nonetheless, to keep Paramount's networks, CBS, Nickelodeon, Comedy Central among them, on YouTube TV's platform as they continue negotiations. Just before their carriage agreement was set to expire at midnight Eastern, and we thought this would happen, and it did, YouTube TV announced on X that they secured a short-term extension with Paramount, assuring subscribers they'd still have access to its channels. We don't know how long the short-term extension is, but nothing terrible has happened just yet. Bloomberg's Mark Gurman reports that Meta is creating a new team within Reality Labs to develop humanoid robots, hardware, and AI potentially for household tasks, led by Mark Whitten, former CEO of GM's Cruise. The goal isn't necessarily to build a Meta-branded robot, but to establish a hardware platform for the broader robotics market, similar to what Google might be doing with Android. Meta is said to be in talks with robotics companies like Unitree Robotics and Figure AI about potential prototype partnerships. I thought this was an interesting story because we just talked yesterday or 2 days ago about what Apple might be doing with robotics, humanoid and non-humanoid, but what we need in our home, what we want in our home. And, it sounds like this is all the rage.
Yeah, these leaks don't happen by accident a lot of times. And it seems like Meta and Apple both would benefit from investors knowing, hey, we're on this platform. This is an area of exploration for us. It's the next big thing after the next big thing, robotics, right? It's a constantly building thing, and it may not be as imminent as something like autonomous vehicles where you actually have services out there, but everybody's trying to figure out like what they can do with robotics. So it makes sense that Meta would be devoting a little extra money to that, especially maybe if they got some investor questions of like, we saw you're spending so much on AI, but, are you spending on anything else? Yeah, they're going to spend on robotics. It makes sense.
I thought that if Meta would have announced this and you didn't have any competitors that were doing the same thing, it's like, okay, are they about to go to Metaverse 3.0 now? Is that what this could be? But it looks like it might have some legs because it's not just them. It seems like there are a lot of big tech companies that are really trying to figure out how to build an iRobot. Did anyone not see that cautionary tale? I mean, it's I don't know. I'm cool with Roombas. I would be cool if there was like some kind of robot that could like take dishes out the sink and automatically put them in the dishwasher. But when I think of humanoid robots, I literally am thinking of Sunny from iRobot. And my mind just goes to dark places to where these things are they going to be cutting up, vegetables and fruit really, really fast? Can they draw really well? Those are the kind of questions that I'm asking myself.
I mean, the cutting stuff in the kitchen, I'm fine with that.
No joke.
But if you're if you're gonna take me down in the living room, not okay with that humanoid robot.
Also smart for Meta to be the platform for this too, right? Like not just the that way when the robot does cut my fingers off, Meta can say, it's not us. We just built the platform.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that, this idea, and we were kicking this around the other day, like, what do we want? What do we need? And you don't know what you want until you need it, right? So I was doing kind of like a temperature check online of, how do people feel about, Meta, Apple, or the just sort of the tech industry in general, getting into like humanoid robots. We want to do something. We want to be the first. We want to make it happen. And a few things struck out to me over on Bluesky. Soragashi wrote, "Not sure if this is Meta's next flop or a way to finally have someone using the metaverse and paint both initiatives as innovative and successful." Also on Bluesky, Oh No Eric wrote, LMAO, "Facebook is out of ideas after failing at VR and AI. Going to be amusing watching the surprised bag holders who didn't ditch Meta before everyone else."
Oh, geez. Okay. Tired.
Right. And then over on X, Gary Marcus wrote, "Metaverse flopped. Most likely, their humanoid robots investment will too." Okay, so
everybody always says that every time somebody announces something new.
You got a lot of folks being like, they're just gonna fail. First of all, Oh No Eric over on Bluesky, I gotta say, I mean, failing at VR, I feel like Meta is the most successful at VR that any company has been so far.
I mean, I guess you could say they're the most successful at a failed industry if you're going to be really harsh about it, because VR is still not selling in the huge numbers that some people predicted it would by now.
I mean, but for people buying VR headsets, it's Meta more than anybody else. So,
absolutely.
You're definitely, you're not failing there. I don't know, Roger, what do you think?
I can see their point because in a way it feels out of their wheelhouse. If they said Meta partnered with, say, Boston Robotics to develop a humanoid
But that's what
robot.
this is.
Yeah, they are.
This
doing
is
that.
Meta saying we're going to take what we do well, the algorithms and the software and the sensors, and then partner with Boston Robotics or anybody who wants to partner with us to be the platform.
But like, I don't know. Like, what sensors are you referring to?
We don't know yet. This is all just a leak out of Gurman. So I mean, you could assume they're bad or assume they're good. Depends on what argument you want to make.
Listen, if you've had a bad experience, or at least had a non-exceptional experience with an investment with an outfit, you're going to always be skeptical unless they give you details that really, like, oh, okay, I see what they're doing now.
Who's had a bad experience with investing in Meta?
I mean, you just. I mean,
you've made money. Is what you've done.
Lots, lots and lots.
I'm just.
I think
saying,
people like to hate Meta. Like that's definitely true. But
color me. I am incredibly skeptical of this. I have more faith in Apple's approach than I would currently with Meta's.
we don't even know what Apple's approach is.
We don't know what the
either,
approaches are.
Well,
And-
that's interesting, right? It's like the perception of what Apple versus Meta would do, and everybody's different. But you, Roger, are saying like, Apple might do something cool. I don't know about Meta's approach, and somebody out there might feel exactly the opposite.
There's that, and there's also this. When you really think about Apple doesn't generally come out with stuff first. They come out with stuff after someone else has come out with it, and then they do that Apple magic to it and makes it wonderful for everybody who uses it. Right. So this is a situation where, I'm not standing for Meta in any, in any way here. But the company is wildly successful. They have done things to make people not like them, not like the way that they operate. But I even think that when it comes to the metaverse, they get kind of a bad rap on that. They made a big bet and they were just early. At some point we're going to be doing VR. I just don't know that it'll be with a big giant set of goggles on your face. But I think in order to win big, you've got to go big. And this is maybe another one of those situations. Yeah. I do have a question though. We hear these things are going to be doing household tasks. And I think that automatically we jump to, well, these robots are going to be in the house. But I'm just wondering, are we going to first see these like maybe in event centers, in hotels and stuff like that, 100%. Places where they can actually afford them before we see them in the home folding sheets?
Yeah, I took the idea of them saying household as a way to say there's a well-developed industry doing industrial robotics, right? And it would be very competitive for Meta to get in there and try to make their way. But nobody is really making a lot of household robotics that are any much successful. So we have an opportunity to win there in a way that you couldn't in industrial robotics. I hadn't thought about that midway space though, like hospitality, event center. That's interesting. There's a little bit of that going on with these robots from Samsung and others that they're kind of roll around airports and stuff. But that's minimal.
Yeah, I mean, part of it is that they really need to find a niche where people just that light bulb goes off in their head. It's like, oh, I get it. Like the same way generative AI chatbots really just like, oh, I can use it. I see what the results are. I don't know. I'm struggling to see exactly what this turns out to be.
Well, yeah, because they haven't even announced it. This is a leak, right? And they're saying we're beginning a project to spend some money to research something. Like it's a little harsh to hold them like, so where's your product?
I do also think that the idea that the metaverse has flopped. I mean, I guess what did Mark Zuckerberg, CEO of Meta, talked about the metaverse for the first time less than 5 years ago. Yeah, and everyone was sort of like, okay, what's that
I always
about?
felt like he was just like ginning something up to get attention flipped by saying metaverse. And I know he named the company after it,
Yeah.
but with the idea that like someday we'll get there, but we're going to be very good in VR. So we'll say metaverse to get people extra excited. And
Yeah,
then
it's
that'll
a
give us the
place
lead
that
in
you
VR.
go.
Yeah.
It's
And
a place
it's
that you
worked.
go.
They have the lead in VR.
A place that you hang out, a place that you can be in.
But it was
And-
never a product. So when people say it flopped, I'm like, what flopped? He never launched anything. He just said, someday we'll make a metaverse.
Like, he didn't buy a planet, actually, turns out. Yeah, this is, I mean, if someone was like, hey, Sarah, do you want to hang out in the metaverse with me today? I'd be like, oh, because it's a meta product, maybe not. Just because I would rather diversify. But the idea of a alternate
Avenue.
whatever, yeah,
World,
is
realm.
that is Meta is not the only company trying to figure this out. A place where you kind of go and here are things. I mean, it's Roblox is a metaverse.
I'll be honest,
by
It's
the
more
same
of a
definition.
metaverse than anything else. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, this still feels like a giant real estate. Not that it's directly a real estate thing, but it feels like when someone pitches me a timeshare or a real estate, like
No
I got
one's
this thing
asking
coming
you to
up.
buy this.
I'm just saying.
Roger
I'm just
says I
saying.
don't want to go.
I'm just saying.
But I do have some free suitcases for you for listening to my presentation.
Yeah, I'm
Check out these
putting,
special
I'm putting
glasses.
these robots into the the robot vacuum cleaner like 12, 13 years ago. No, what would I ever want that for? Now you see them on the shelf at Target.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
True. Yeah, I know. It happens. It happens quick. Life comes at you fast. It also comes at you fast when you're looking for jobs. So, Rob, if I'm looking for a job, do I have to clarify that I'm a human on my resume?
You might, Sarah. You might, because if you're a developer currently in the job market, you may not be competing for that dream role only with other human job seekers. Firecrawl, a Y Combinator-backed 7-person startup, is looking for an AI agent to autonomously research trending models and build sample apps to showcase the company's product. And they're willing to pay $10,000 to $15,000 annually for the entity that does not need food, clothing, or shelter. Now, in full disclosure, the founders, Caleb Peffer and Nicholas Silverstein Camara, told TechCrunch that this job posting was equal parts PR stunt and experiment. But Firecrawl was actually looking to hire the developer that created the best agent. That 10 to 15K would have just been rolled into the developer's compensation package. Unfortunately, the 50 or so AI agent applicants didn't fit the bill, so Firecrawl pulled the ad. But the company plans to list another job posting for an AI agent this summer. I kind of think that will also be a PR stunt. But here's the thing with this. Companies, I don't think, are going to start showing up on LinkedIn saying we need to hire an AI bot to do stuff. But I do think they're going to show up and say we need to hire an AI developer to build these agents that can actually do this stuff. And I think that's, this is not that far from reality. We are going to see people building agents that would do otherwise what humans would do.
Yeah, I agree. And this is a very stunty way to get attention. And actually, props to the folks at Firecrawl for copping to that and saying, yeah, this is a PR stunt. But they wanted to get a conversation started. They also wanted to maybe get some developers who were like, oh yeah, I can whip together an agent. And I think it points out a few things. One is they're not intending to replace humans with the agents. They need people who are good at making agents to do this, right? That was their aim, is to hire people who are good at making agents. It's just that the job description changed from we need you to create this app and spend hundreds and hundreds of hours to do it to we need you to create agents for us and spend a lot less time making the actual app so that we can make more apps and be more productive. And I looked at this and I'm like, oh, this is what I was looking for when I keep saying, like, jobs will change. What they're hiring for is someone who's good at managing and making agents versus someone who's good at the coding. That's the next evolution, is you're going to need people who do that.
I mean, this doesn't feel too dissimilar to me than somebody, when you say like a social media, head of social media. And you go like, all right, so you just like post things to X and Bluesky and Instagram and TikTok. It's like, no, if you're good at it, you're really good at it.
Yeah.
And
you know the zeitgeist and when to post and what stuff gets attention.
Right. And with an AI agent, it's the same thing. It's like, oh, I know what the company wants us to put out, and I'm going to use that agent to make us, sell the most T-shirts or whatever it is that we're doing.
I think everybody, when you think about this lightly, you think like, oh yeah, I just tell the AI to do it and it does it, so it replaces me. But anybody who's actually tried to use these tools knows,
Does not work
oh
that
no,
way.
you have to try many times to get it refined to do what you want. You have to supervise it, make sure it's working within parameters, and eventually, yes, then you get an agent you can reliably have do a thing for you. But it's not like you push a button and you do it. Like just like think about project management, right? Everybody's like, oh, we want to do this project. And you have a meeting and then suddenly you find out there's 15 different perspectives and there's things you didn't think of and you have to refine it and stuff. Same works with the agents, right? It's like you think it's easy to tell it what to do, but you got to be precise.
It's literally hiring an intern. You hire an intern for a small amount of money.
Like a super intern, yeah.
Right. And you say to that intern, like, here's what I want you to do. And the intern goes like, okay, I'll do my best. And then you get some feedback and you're like, okay, so here's what I want you to do better next time. Intern goes, cool. All right. I'm still learning. I mean, this is very much that, with the intern getting, hopefully a little per diem per day.
I think when we think about AI agents, we automatically think, oh, it's going to displace jobs. And I'm guilty of that. I do that. But we really need to think of these things as tools. Tractors are tools. They replaced a lot of people that were plowing fields by hand. Airplanes are tools. They keep you from having to take 2-week trips across country to go visit in-laws. So yes, are jobs going to be displaced in some fashion? Yes. But I think, as you said, Tom, it's going to be different jobs. You're going to be different jobs. And if anything we know about AI agents, if you displace one person, you're going to have to hire 3 more to make sure that the AI agent actually is correct and is out there killing people.
Yeah. One question I keep hearing people when this topic comes up ask is, did your job exist 100 years ago? Because the answer is most jobs 100 years ago were farmer. So unless you're a farmer, you're probably doing something that didn't exist 100 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good point. I mean, it really is. Like I said, if you think of these more as tools, they're tools that are going to be used to do a level of work. And in the case of Firecrawl, they're not displacing anyone. They're actually trying to hire someone to create these things. So I guess if you were to extrapolate it out, you could say, well, if they wouldn't have had the AI agent, they would have had to have hired a person for this. But you're kind of defining it not at that point. It's like, well, they never have hired that person. They hired someone to create an agent to do a level of work that they don't need to go get a person for because it's now automated.
And I will add, oftentimes this frees up that person to do an expanded number of jobs and this is the thing, when you automate things, it's not like that job suddenly becomes hermetically sealed and there's nothing else ever. It just allows you to do, for example, say bottling. It used to be it was one machine and then a lot of workers. Then it became fully automated. Now you can do more, which means you need more people to, load up the trucks, drive the trucks to deliver, to make calls with new clients, to find you know what I mean? There's you're growing the process because you can frees you up to grow the business along with it.
Yeah. No, exactly. The think of it this way: the job of developer, that in this case you might be worried, the developer's job is going to get replaced by the agent. The job of developer was not possible until you did things like automate the bottling plant, so that you could have more free time and more available people to be like, oh, someone can learn to be a developer. And the developer who's creating the app is creating an app that is replacing the labor of hundreds of people, right? Because before apps, you had to do everything by hand or you didn't have the automation that the app provides. So there's always replacing of roles. Sometimes there's replacing of people, and that's problematic, and we shouldn't ignore that. But a lot of times we confuse replacing of roles with replacing of people.
Yeah. And
there was a time when people actually, and I think we're all too young to remember this, but there was a time when people actually used slide rules and paper.
That was my dad.
spreadsheets aren't just Google Docs and Excel. They actually are paper that are styled a certain way.
Sheet. Yeah,
they're
sheet
sheets of
there.
paper to do work. And like I said, so yeah, there are lots of people. We called them computers back in the day to compute numbers, and we don't think of computers in that same way anymore.
Word
even
processor.
Pre-computers, it's like
I mean, the job was a word processor. There was no software. It was a person whose job was to process.
So that's the
words.
Yeah. And my dad was using a slide rule when he was a structural engineer, and he gradually moved over to like a $300 LED Texas Instrument scientific calculator.
That was the seminal part of my experience with technology as a kid was my dad getting a calculator, like an electronic calculator, because he didn't have to use a slide rule anymore. And then he would be working at home, and when he was done, I'd be like, "Can I play with the calculator?" That's so cool, right?
And guess what happens? Like, especially with engineering jobs, now you move the process faster. So, people who are either working in construction or the cement providers, everything can move a little quicker rather than coming back and going.
I got my grandpa.
You have a slide ruler, Tom.
This is my grandpa's
that's
slide rule.
The kind of
here.
person you are.
Wow. Do you have the one that's the triangle that like
How
has
often
the,
do
has
you
like,
use
No,
it?
I don't have. Never.
Yeah.
I'm so lazy. But it's a precision Sterling slide rule.
Tom's got the
listen,
slide rule. You're going to bust out doing finger
I
math?
know my multiplication, but I don't do it.
One of these days, Dom's going to
just
pull out an
ask-
AI
I
developer
ask
right out of
Amazon's
the shelf.
assistant.
I have an AI developer right here. Well, folks,
Probably
if you would
do.
like to share pictures of your slide rules, please do in our Discord. We've got a great conversation going on there all the time. Come on and join. All you got to do is become a patron and link your Patreon account, patreon.com/DTNS.
All right, we've been talking about social media a bit. Mastodon has made progress on a feature that not everyone likes. Tom, tell us more.
Yeah, thanks to RW for posting this one on the subreddit. Mastodon said Friday it is making progress on quote posts. This is a feature that does not exist in ActivityPub, which is the protocol Mastodon uses, but you find it everywhere else. If you're on Blue Sky or X or Threads, you can repost someone else's post and then add your own comments. On Mastodon, you can't do that. Maybe you didn't realize that if you don't use Mastodon. You can repost it, but it just goes in your feed as is. You don't get to add any comments to it. So Mastodon's protocol is going to allow reposts, but not without some controls. You can control if a post can be quote posted. So in other words, you can say, you know what, don't let anyone put a quote on this. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see people's comments. I don't want to go viral that way. You can withdraw from a quoted post if it does go viral and you're like, ooh, that person reposted it and they're getting attention and I'm going to pull it out of there. And you also can get notified if someone quote posts you, so you can keep an eye on that sort of thing. I know why some people are concerned about quote posts, because they don't get to control what the person putting the description around their post is saying. But is that something y'all are concerned with? I'm curious what the panel thinks.
I mean, I am very quote post friendly. So like, for example, let's say I'm on X, right? We're talking about Mastodon, but like I'm on any social network. I'm on X and somebody has posted something where like I'm like, oh, I've got thoughts, but maybe my thoughts are not in line with that original post. The quote tweet, as we used to call them, that is perfect for this, right? Where I say like, Robb said that, macaroni is bad. And, I'm not going to just like retweet that. I'm going to say like, I think macaroni is good. That, and of course it gets into much more serious content, but I think that works out really well. The repost portion without like giving your thoughts is always feels like, fueling the fire to me.
I am a huge fan of the quote post. And I'll be honest with you, I was today years old when I found out that people have a problem with it, because for me, now that quote posts are available pretty much everywhere, less Mastodon, I actually use those way more than I ever use just the repost. And the reason is because it's like if I find someone that said something really cool or they made a good point, I don't want, and I want to conversate on that. I don't want to take any credit away from them. I want folks to know where I got it from. So I'm using that to let folks know, hey, this isn't my original thought. Here's just what I'm just adding to the conversation. And I mean, I've made friends out of quote posting stuff that, that they've said and, gone and had conversations with. And we've ultimately, ended up following each other and have become friends. And even in some cases, maybe have started podcasts together. But it's, to me, it is a very positive thing. So I literally, in researching this story, just found out that there are a lot of people who use them in a way that is just not cool. And that's like, well, that's the internet. That's just how people are.
I mean, honestly, this is just a 21st century of what photography or people who used to record audio from events, and people say, well, that picture was taken out of context and it's being used in a manner that I don't approve. Really, it's just a loss of control of something they said earlier, which is something a lot of people are uncomfortable with, right? If Sarah said this diner is the best breakfast ever, and then someone took a quote post and added so why don't you tip better? It adds to a
and
level
then that goes viral. And
I think people are just worried about the general nastiness of society, and I don't think it's necessarily a quote post, but for them it might just be another avenue of, oh, well, now people are just going to take something I've totally said out of context and then gin it up.
Although you're not taking it out of context in quote post case, because
no,
the
in
post
fact,
is
it's more
the context
than it would be otherwise.
I guess if it's part of a thread and you quote post it out of the thread, that could be taking it out.
Well, Skelly2909 in our chat says a reply shows up only for people that follow both of you. Yep. A quote post shows up to your followers. And, that's true. I feel like that's a way for, if Rob says, I hate macaroni, I'm like, I would like to talk about macaroni to my followers. Yeah. I'm going to quote post this and say, do you agree? Post. That kind of thing. That works well. I also get, I get where some people say, you are kind of hijacking, my whole train of thought, because you're making it all about you. But that's, it's a tool. It's existed for a long time.
It can be used in good ways and bad. And I think we've covered the fact that there are examples of good and there are examples of bad. I'll remind everybody listening that Mastodon, I think, is doing a pretty good job by saying you can say, I don't want people to quote this.
Yes.
You can even change your mind later if you let people quote it and pull it back out. So those are pretty good. Those are pretty good qualities.
I think those are great because it does allow a degree of agency. And again, for me, the broader issue is more of a societal one than an actual technology one. It's just people are going to do things with stuff that you have either previously said, or at an appearance or whatever, and just
I find it a relief when I go to Mastodon and I can just press the retweet button, the repost button. And because I feel like I'm supposed to use quote post. I feel like, I should explain to people. I should add some value to it on the other platforms. But on Mastodon, I don't have that choice. So it is nice. I think that's where some of the resistance comes from. It's like, now I have to make another decision.
That makes sense.
Well, it also, this is sort of a broader conversation of if Tom says something and I say, yeah, I like it, I'm just going to send it out to my followers. The followers are like, do you agree? Do you disagree? Yeah. Why did you send this to us? The quote post is part of the way to be like, here's where I am on this.
I support Rob's hate of macaroni.
Right. Or I don't. Or I don't. Whatever it is.
We've been quote posting Rob this whole time and he never even said that.
I mean, I like macaroni, so we're in accord here. But yeah, I think that's it. It's fun, like you said, Tom, on Mastodon or wherever somebody is, feeling like their community is the best, to be like, I'm just gonna, send it out to all my folks. I don't have to say something about it. Yeah. They just know they get it. But if you are having lots of different conversations with a lot of people who have different feelings, then that is harder and harder to do.
For me on Mastodon currently, I don't post there first regularly, but the times that I have done a repost, almost every single time I've done it, I would imagine that I probably went into the very first comment, and then whatever I would have said if I could have re-quoted it, or if I could have done that feature, I say it in the first comment, so hey, this isn't mine. This is what this person is saying, and now here's what I think about it. But it does kind of get lost. It's below the post as compared to being at the top of it.
Well, I say quote post or not quote post all you want. You still can't do it on Mastodon because they didn't give us a timeline on when this is rolling out. So don't worry about it.
Eventually.
Don't worry about it, but talk about it on Mastodon. That would be great. All right. Well, everybody, it is Friday. Don't know if you realize that, but it is Friday. And Roger, you have another quiz to take us into the weekend. What do we have today?
All right. A couple of episodes ago, we talked about how Netflix was opened a new themed restaurant in Las Vegas featuring a menu inspired by the many popular shows on their platform. But Netflix was certainly not the first and will not be the last property to do this and turn their ideas IP into a themed restaurant. So this quiz will test you on the source material for these themed eateries, not the Netflix one, but themed restaurants in general, and how well you actually know them.
Okay.
So, question 1.
I hope we brought our appetites.
Yeah. Oh, so
very hungry right now.
a side note, after each answer, we're going to show the menu of the said place, and
That's
then you can go through and we can either ridicule or say, I'm booking a spot tonight.
Don't tell me what to do.
Okay.
So the question 1. Scum and Villainy Cantina in L.A. plays host to a number of sci-fi and fantasy events throughout the year. But it's modeled after the local watering hole found in this starport in the Star Wars planet of Tatooine.
The cantina in Mos Eisley Spaceport. The Mos Eisley Cantina? Is that what it's called? I can't remember now.
The
Robb.
place where the Cantina band plays?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Found it in this the name of the spaceport.
I
Mos
don't
Eisley.
know.
It's Mos Eisley. Just say Mos Eisley, Scott.
Mos Eisley.
Mos Eisley.
All right, everyone wins on this one.
Yay!
It's a really cool cantina, and it has a lot of themed nights. So they do trivia, do karaoke night. If you can see on the screen right now, you'll see they have a very interesting eclectic mix of items on the menu, pulled from a number of locales. So it's not
The Romeo and the Juliet are not particularly spacey, but okay.
No, but you also, if we scroll down,
the Iocane Antidote. That's from Princess Bride, right?
There's also a Harlequin cocktail as well.
Very
There's
nice.
a lot of
Harlequin.
these if you go through that are pretty cool. I've been meaning to go there, but I don't know. I mean, dragging my kids along, it seems kind of odd.
Do they provide
Grey
you with
cold.
laser pistols so you could have it out with bounty hunters that may be coming after you?
That's right.
Yeah, they have a carbonite care, Care, Atreus Tears from what's the Never Ending Story?
Never Ending Story.
Yeah.
Wow, cool. That's awesome.
It definitely,
The
if you're in the LA area,
Never-Ending
I mean,
It did end though. It was a lie.
well, if you watch,
No,
the
it
second-
doesn't,
No,
Tom.
if you watch,
Because somebody
The
else
movie
reads
did.
the book.
Yeah. Well, they came up with a part 2 of that movie. All right, question 2: What iconic bar from the Star Trek television
10
franchise
forward.
was recreated at the Las Vegas Hilton as part of the Star Trek experience?
Quarks.
10 forward, Quarks.
10 forward.
Sarah says, "I don't
I've been
know."
there.
I say
All right.
I got
I'll go
served
with
by a
Robb
Klingon.
because he feels very, very,
All right.
yeah.
So Tom wins with Quarks because this features everyone's Ferengi. Quarks.
Should have been 10 forward.
So what's interesting
I'm not disagreeing
is
with that,
Quarks.
actually. Yeah.
If you go through, when you get the show notes for today, I actually included a link to the blog post of the gentleman who actually wrote the Quarks menu, because when he originally he was originally Fred bugged him about like the menu items they had on the on Quarks bar, and they said like, well, this doesn't feel very Star Trek like. One of these is called the Cosmic Burger. Like, it's just like, it was very interesting. So he and his local Star Trek fan base that he hangs out with sat together one barbecue weekend, and they came up with a bunch of really cool, interesting names. They had they had these different appetizers. So there was 1 of 3, 2 of 3, 3 of 3. To do the whole yeah. They had the Dr. Bashir's roasted veggie pizza, Crab Nebula seafood pizza, Joseph Sisko's.
They were just regular food, but they put Star Trek-y names on.
Yeah,
them.
exactly.
They have
on a stick.
They have Worf's prune juice.
They have the Romulan Warbird, Cisco's sirloin, Fisherman's Wharf. Come on.
Yeah. I wish they would have given him freedom to create dishes that were more like, like.
Well, you got
something.
Listen. That's a great effort. That menu alone is worth a visit if that place was still in operating condition.
I liked that place. That was fun.
I mean, the Star Trek experience was kind of fun, and I was sad to see it go. I should have went last time. All right, question 3. Central Perk was the gathering spot for the gang from Friends. It was a fictional place only found on reruns and forum posts until a super fan of the series opened a couple of replica coffee shops in 2 of this country's biggest cities. What is that country?
Wait, hold on. It was a fictional place found before reruns. It was fictional from the beginning.
So is your answer from the beginning?
No.
No.
What
She's just saying it was
cities.
fictional in the original run, not just in the rerun.
I'm just saying it was fictional from the beginning. Central Perk.
Okay.
The question is, which country did they open 2 real versions of? Is that the question?
The replica of
All right.
Central Perk.
Man. Who wants
This was the big story 8 years ago.
The United States of America.
No, Tom.
Yeah, I know. That's too
Oh,
obvious.
you have to get more creative. I don't know.
The United States of Mexico, which is actually what it's called.
I actually went to a place in Laos, which I don't think is one of the countries that is going to be.
Do they have 2 though?
They were into Friends reruns, let me tell you. But I'm gonna guess. Russia?
Is it Japan?
I didn't hear what Sarah said.
Russia.
And then Robb.
Vatican City.
Vatican City.
Vatican City. Ooh.
Russia, and then Tom says Japan.
Yeah.
Right? So, no, you're all wrong. They actually opened in China in both first in Beijing and then in Shanghai. And it has everything. It has a replica of the DVDs that were.
This coffee shop has everything.
Everything, including the sofa, literally had
everything.
Apparently back then when it opened, it was a huge hit with the locals because the local populace could not get enough of Friends. They were like super fans.
So, true story. I have never seen a single episode of Friends. Not one.
I mean,
I have never sat through an episode of Friends.
You guys are not the only 2 that have said that. I have a really good friend who's like, I don't know, is it really that good? And I'm like, I don't know if it is. It's a time.
I honestly can't tell you if it's that good. I've truly have never seen it. And now we're to the point to where, because I can say I've never seen it, I actually will go out of my way. I will walk out of places where it's on, so I can always say that I've never seen Friends.
I've never seen it, and I'm never going to. Yeah.
And it has like a reunion movie or something coming up. Basically.
No, they did a special on Peacock a couple of years ago when Chandler's character
was still alive.
Well, yeah, when he was still alive.
Yeah.
So
well, that's
all right.
Okay.
On a lighter note, with locations in LA and New York City, The Beetle House is based on this director's famous Gothic fantasy comedy horror movie. Name the director.
Wait, this is dangerous.
And the movie.
We shouldn't all answer this because then it'll be 3 times.
Gothic dark fantasy comedy horror movie?
Yeah. No, I'm going to say it, but don't repeat me more than 2 times because it's Beetlejuice.
Oh, all right.
All right, and the
Oh,
director.
the Beetle House. Got it. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know
Brian
the
Todd-
director.
you
Who's
don't
the
know
director of that movie? Why am I blanking? Because he's super. Yes, him. Burton.
Tim Burton.
Yes, Tim Burton.
All right, so Tim Burton. So I assume everyone says the same thing. So yeah, if you actually visit L.A. or New York, the Beetle House is a very Halloween centric locale featuring a bunch of novelty beverages as well as foods. See, you need to notice from Edward Scissorhands, the scissors.
It's like a Tim Burton theme, not just
Yes.
the one movie. Yeah.
See the Edward Burger hands. So, hey, listen, if I had burger
It's like
hands, I'd
Soho
be doing,
House, but for Tim Burton fans.
yeah.
I would probably prefer the Tim Burton version.
Wait, Killer Coca Van is not a very interesting name, but man, that presentation is bloody and it has a knife. Oh wait, that's a razor. That's like a straight razor.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Has anybody seen the new version of like the remake?
Oh, the
of
sequel? I have
the
not
sequel?
seen it.
I have
I didn't
not.
watch it. I heard it was good though.
Yeah.
I haven't
They
watched
managed to get the original
check it
cast,
out.
all of it. So.
Yeah.
Because I enjoyed the first one, so I probably should go watch it.
I have never watched the original movie.
It also has Jenna Ortega in it.
Oh, that's right.
You've
as
never seen the
the
original
daughter.
Beetlejuice?
No,
Roger?
I have not.
Oh,
The
now
only
we've said it 3
Beetlejuice-
times.
that's
The only time I've seen
we've
it
said
is the
twice now.
cartoon, the animated Beetlejuice series.
It's a fun one. I mean, it's quirky at
Very
best.
Tim Burton from
Very
Nightmare
Tim
Before
Burton,
Christmas,
yeah.
Batman,
Yeah.
the rest. All right, question 5. Alice's Teacup, with 3 locations in New York City, celebrates this iconic children's author who wrote the story Alice in Wonderland.
Dr. Seuss.
No, it's not a Hamon because that's
Rob,
Who is
Rob's
it?
smart. He's waiting for everyone. You're doing the.
Rob's just going to make a name up. Rob's going to go with
I know.
Tamara McKinley.
Tamara McKinley.
'Cause I have no clue.
Wow, I love their books though.
I know this answer.
I do too, and I'm blanking on the.
I'm
the
totally blanking.
Yeah.
It's like it's Alice in
Through the
Wonderland,
Looking Glass
Through the Looking Glass
is the name of the book
Yeah.
by.
Jabberwocky.
The Stoic Man says in our chat, Lewis Carroll.
Yes, the Stoic Man. We'll go with the Stoic Man.
Stoic Man is correct. It is Lewis Carroll.
Hooray! Congratulations,
Yay.
the Stoic Man.
Thank
The Alice-
you.
Alice's
It takes a
Teacup.
village.
You
The Jabberwocky was always very scary to me. I don't know if you guys
read it.
really
It was-
read these books, but the Jabberwocky was like a scary, dragon.
Look,
It
They had
gyred
the-
and gimbled in the wabe.
I know, and the cast, or at least half the cast of Monty Python made the movie.
When I
Which
think of
was-
Jabberwockies, I think of the dance group.
Which
Oh,
is named after
There is that
the
as well.
Lewis Carroll thing, but
Different
yeah,
Jabberwocky.
probably more famous these days. It's
But
probably-
if you want a tea house with a lot of tea and other stuff like brunch, Alice's Teacup is the place to go, apparently.
Ooh, thank you, C-Spawn, for the super sticker. That's so nice.
If anyone's been, let me know. It actually looks kind
That's a
of cool.
big old super sticker. $10.
They don't do the little sandwiches, though. All right, question 6. Now, unfortunately, this place closed, but this former Chicago eatery celebrated the world of Saved by the Bell. Now, this restaurant was focused on this particular in-show hangout spot.
Oh, I mean, I watched the show, kind of.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
This is a
Yeah,
blank spot in my cultural
Yeah.
knowledge.
Cafe Club. I got nothing.
The hot spot.
Frank's.
Right.
I mean,
Good, actually, yeah, that's a good guess.
That's actually, Rob, you're the closest. It's the it's the Max, and it was a local hangout, and they
The
The
Max.
Max.
Yeah, I actually
decorated
remember
the
that
entire
now,
restaurant just like it was in the TV show. Fortunately, apparently not enough Saved by the Bell fans visited to keep it running, but they had AC sliders.
Well, this is sort of like the Netflix
Mac and
You know.
Screech.
Mac and Screech.
situation in Vegas. It's like you just see how much
Big Bopper
people,
Bop salad.
love that lore. I actually went to
Bayside Burger.
very weirdly. Once when I was in Paris and I was like just sort of tromping around Paris by myself. I walked into this bar and I was like, what is this? I think this is a Saved by the Bell themed bar.
In Paris. Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
And, in my extremely broken French, I was like, is that where I am? And they were
Qu'est-ce que
like,
c'est?
yes, it
Saved by the
is."
Bell?
Like, we,
Yeah.
we.
Like there were no TVs, nothing. It was just like
Oh.
this very weird Saved by the Bell bar.
Did
Yeah,
you
it was
enjoy
fun.
it? Did it have like
Yes.
specialty drinks, like something with like?
Exactly. It was exactly like the Netflix, the Netflix restaurant. It was the same
This
thing.
is just
Morris
a Mai
malt.
Tai.
Yeah, I was like, I'll just have a glass of wine. I don't know. Yeah.
By the way, I feel bad. Tudo slipped in a super sticker earlier,
Oh.
and we missed it. So
Thank you, Tudo.
Oh, well, thank you.
All right.
Indeed.
Question 7. The Pandorica in New York City is another themed restaurant fashioned after the timekeeping traveling exploits of this BBC hero. I know Tom knows.
Who?
Yes, but what is their
Doctor
title?
Who? Doctor Who? I was trying to be funny and you said somebody's
Who
name. And I
to,
was like,
who
But
to
yeah,
his
Doctor Who.
friends?
Yeah.
Like, Roger, you can't just give it to Tom. Rob also knew the answer.
Doctor
Okay,
Who.
Rob also knew the answer. I just wanted Tom to be last so you guys could have a chance to.
Did you know it, Sarah?
No. No.
Who are you talking about?
No.
Exactly.
I'm all into Severance, and my innie and outie are fighting. It's a whole.
Oh
thing.
my God!
I just
Did
started
you-
watching
did-
that show. It is very good.
Did you see last night's episode?
Oh,
No, I'm only on
yes,
season
I
1.
did. Yes, I did.
All right. Well, I won't say too
I have
much,
thoughts.
but
I
yeah.
have thoughts. Yeah.
The
It's
Pandorica
getting a
for
little
any.
cray cray, but Rob, I'm glad you're watching because
Yeah,
we
it
can
is.
talk about it later.
The Pandorica is the fictional prison in which this large conspiracy tries to entrap the Doctor in, but it has filled with a lot of Doctor Who memorabilia and kind of thematic bits and bobs with the show. Where's
Paul McNeely asks a question. What was the original name for Saved by the Bell? It had.
I mean,
I want to say
is
Parker
that
Lewis
a-
Can't Lose, but that's a different show.
No, that's a different show. Was Saved by the Bell supposed to be named something different?
Yeah, I didn't know. it
Yeah, a
had
lot of
different
TV
name.
shows have like a working title or something before
Oh,
they
I
get
see.
green light,
Yeah,
right?
Was it
I
called
would not
Screech
know
and the
that
Gang?
answer.
Screech and the Kids. Yeah.
This
Good
AC is
morning,
too
Miss
cool.
Bliss. Is that it? Good morning, Miss Bliss aired from 88 to 89, but failed to pick up a following.
My Hook House says just Bayside High. That could
That
have been.
actually makes sense. Yeah.
That
No,
could
it's
have
good.
been.
Good morning, Miss Bliss is the name, and it was an actual show
Would have never guessed that.
that was on for a year and didn't get picked up, so they spun it into Saved by the Bell.
It's like
With
who's
Haley
Oh, it
Mills.
started as a radio show, according to Flavor Toothpaste.
Wow, really? Okay.
I didn't see that.
Final question, number 8. A Turkish coffee bar located in Istanbul is modeled after the exploits of this former school teacher turned drug maker in this long-running TV series. What is it?
Sarah
Sarah?
knows.
Breaking Bad?
Yes.
Walter
What is
White.
his name? What is the name of the
Walter
the,
White.
Yeah.
Yeah, Walter
And what was his pseudonym as he was dealing?
Say his name. Sir.
Oh, I'm the.
They
I
have,
forget.
it's part of Star
Ooh,
Trek's.
you're going with that. That's another good one though. Yeah.
the Star Trek transporters.
Someone help me in chat. I'm your Heisenberg.
Yes.
Yes.
And so they if you look at their menu, they have a nice blend of different coffees that are all
I get it.
thematically based.
And they come with little like plastic pouches.
Yep.
Nice.
Do they have a room where you can cook the best?
A secret room.
They have one guy dressed up in like a bunny suit.
That's
there,
good.
so-
Yeah, that
so
tracks.
it's always amusing how people really.
I'd like to
glom
eat
onto
in the
those things.
trailer, in the RV.
Better Call Saul. All right, but yeah, there we go. these are I decided to go the ones that weren't as well known, like No Bubba Gumps or what's the other one?
Yeah, that's kind of obvious. Bubba
Yeah.
Gumps and those. Yeah.
The
are
Universal
good.
ones that get played out, but these are great.
Or theme park ones. So you always have these kinds of things in a theme park, but that
Yes.
feels kind of different than what. These are good picks. Good stuff.
Yeah, this is a good quiz, man. This is fun.
I'm
Praise Roger.
gonna go visit if I can. I'm gonna try the Scum and Villainy Cantina one of these days, as well as the Beetle House because they're both in LA, so it won't be too much of a trek.
And watch Beetlejuice. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
It's weird, but that's why
Oh,
it's
I mean,
great.
it's Tim Burton. That goes without saying. It's not like it's. I'm gonna be. It's
Yeah.
not gonna be. Yeah.
right. You're not going to be like, very cut and
Also,
dry.
watch Severance.
So watch Severance. Oh my
didn't
God,
realize
Severance.
So my wife and I are on season 1. I think we're on episode 4, season 1. So we're just watching one a week so we don't blow through it.
Okay. Yep.
That's hard.
I actually, you know what?
I have to watch one a week right now.
It's so fun
So
when
caught up.
somebody is behind you and they're like, "Oh, I just started," and you're like, "I can't wait for you to get to episode 8."
Yeah.
like it's just like I can't wait for you to catch up, and then we can talk about it.
Yeah. And we're all of the age that we remember when it was a thing to talk about TV shows at the water cooler
Oh, yeah.
the day after. Like I remember talking about 24, Leverage, those shows. I could not wait to get to work the
Alias.
next day.
Exactly. I don't know if you remembered, Sarah Tom, but back at Tech TV, there was a little Buffy the Vampire Slayer subgroup that would meet and talk about the show.
I was not part of that,
Oh, I'm sorry.
but
They didn't let me and
thank
Sarah
you
in,
for
but,
not inviting me.
It's okay.
So yeah, I guess
I just remember
get over that.
I'd get to work every day and I would hear Jen and Kate talking about the Alias the night before and how amazing it was. Not every day, obviously, but
I
the day
really
after
love that show, but it's like with every other J.J. Abrams property, the ending just never feels.
Yeah.
And that was back before TV cared about endings. They just wanted to keep making shows as long as possible.
Does TV care about endings?
They do. We actually get shows with
don't know.
endings now, like Breaking Bad.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
But they didn't
Yeah.
used to ever have endings. Ever.
They would jump the shark, go for another 2 or 3 years, and then it just stops airing. You don't even see, a finale. It's just kind of like the show just stopped coming on.
Yeah.
And that
Saying
was never great.
Elsewhere. That and what was the other one with the Newhart?
We're going
where the
back
ending-
real far now with saying
Gunsmoke. Yeah.
Saying Elsewhere. Is that the one that starred like Denzel Washington?
Munsters.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it had
that was his
Denzel
first
Washington.
breakout role. Yeah.
Yeah,
Everybody
that was
forgets that.
Denzel Washington. Also,
Good
who's the
memory.
guy that does the game show? He did the voice of Bobby's World.
Howie Mandel.
Yeah, Howie
Howie
Mandel.
Mandel.
He was in that. And then at the final
Back when he had
episode,
hair.
wait, this entire all these seasons. Of
Hey,
entire
don't no
show?
spoilers.
All right.
Yeah, Roger. Jesus.
right.
Jesus. Just a reminder that if you have questions or thoughts about anything we talk about, do send it our way. Feedback at dailytechnewsshow.com. Tom, we do have a lot of folks who have been hopefully in a fun place giving us some show title suggestions.
Yeah. I hope this hasn't cursed us. G. James B's title is leading with "Nothing terrible has happened yet." Knock on wood. There's also Zoe with the AI super intern. A slippery slide rule, also from G. James B. Should have been 10 forward is a good one. Zoe, well done. Good. Humans need not apply from Fred 819.
I like
Managing agent intern, apply now. From C-Spawn.
I like
Yeah.
bio cows. Quote the Mastodon evermore.
Well, you know what, Roger? That is fun because that's what we decided to choose for our show
look
title
at that.
today.
Amazing.
I don't know how do Mastodons fit over my doorway though. That's kind of a big.
Yeah, you just make it work.
Yeah, make it work. Figure it out.
Yeah.
Also, big thanks to everybody watching us on LinkedIn, also on YouTube. We got lots of support today. Laminar Rainbow led the way with the first super sticker. Then we got Tudo and C-Spawn just like topped us off with the biggest super sticker of the day. So thank you for your participation and contribution to the show. Also got folks doing it on Twitch. We just got PR Joni 99 using 40 bits to do an on-screen celebration. That was super fun. Used 40 bits to do the exact same thing just a few minutes before that. Technomensch cheered us with 5 bits. PR Joni 99 also subscribed. Good to have you, PR Joni. Keeper Minnesota resubscribed at tier 1 for the 42nd month. Brian M64 back for the for some bits, and for the 41st month says free money. Y'all are amazing. Got bits from Zoe Brings Bacon, a resubscription from Net Guy Green, been with us for 68 months. Rocket Mom 42 gave us a follow. Thanks everybody for supporting us in all the various ways you can, including Patreon, where Matt and Craig gave us a raise. Woohoo! Wow, we've been working hard. Thank you for recognizing that, Matt and Craig. We appreciate you. We have a YouTube channel. If you're watching us on YouTube, you know that. But there's other things besides this on the YouTube channel, including a top 5. I do a YouTube short that is just counting down 5 things this week. AI you didn't know you were using. You are using AI. You just didn't even know it. So go check it out. It is available on youtube.com/Daily Tech News Show. You can also find it in our TikTok feed and on Instagram. We are at Daily Tech News Show on TikTok and DTNS Show on Instagram.
You can also watch us live because we do it Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 2100 UTC. Love to have you with us. You can find out more at dailytechnewsshow.com/live. And just a reminder, Monday in the U.S. is a holiday. It's President's Day. So we will see you all back here on Tuesday. We will be doing Daily Tech Headlines, so you still get your tech fix. Until then, have a great weekend.
This week's episodes of Daily Tech News Show Live were created by the following people. Producer and host Sarah Lane, host Tom Merritt, host Robb Dunewood, producer Roger Chang, video producer Joe Kuntz, producer at large Anthony Lemos, social media producer and moderator Zoe Detterding. Our mods: Beatmaster, W. Scottis1, BioCow, Captain Kipper, Steve Guadarrama, Paul Reese, Matthew J. Stevens, aka Gadget Virtuoso, and J.D. Galloway. Mod and video hosting by Dan Christensen. Music provided by Martin Bell and Dan Luters. Art by Len Peralta. Acast ad support from Tatiana Matias. Patreon support from Tom McNeil. Contributors to this week's show included Justin Robert Young, Shannon Morse, Chris Christensen, and Scott Johnson. And our guest this week was the amazing Will Smith. Big thanks to all the patrons who make the show possible.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Get more at frogpants.com.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.